On a dark and gloomy day we see Blade as he walks through the academy hall with a bloody sword. The other students confront him but he cuts them all down in an instant. He reaches Sophie and she reveals she has always wondered what would happen if she went all out against him. She uses her power to freeze time, landing multiple simultaneous attacks. But when time resumes, Blade is unaffected. He grabs her by the neck, revealing he protected himself by making his body as hard as adamantium. He plunges his sword into her chest and she falls to the ground, but Blade suddenly calls out to the king saying he wants to get out of the illusion. The king appears on a screen saying it's not an illusion, and he reveals Blade is in a virtual reality, saying it was created by the branch of magic called science. He says that in this world they are able to fight all out without hurting somebody, so it's the perfect place to train. Blade thinks it's too realistic and he worries that people could mix up if they are in the virtual world and attack people in the real world. The king adjusts the settings and he transforms the world into a Candyland, telling Blade it's a fight to the death and the winner gets to use the virtual reality however they want. We see Leonard charging with his lance, but Ernest takes him out. It seems she is taking full advantage of the virtual world as she lets her impulses control her. As Blade walks around he sees Clay fighting against Jessica and Chasm fighting against Claire. Jessica gets pushed back and the boys tell them to just give up because they have never lost against them in a fight, but the girls refuse to give up and Jessica manages to take out Chasm while Claire smashes Clay with her mace. Ernest approaches them and it seems she's after Blade. She charges at him like a psycho, but Blade slashes rapidly, blowing everything away. Blade wakes up and the king announces that he was the last man standing. Claire and Jessica note that they couldn't even see his attack and Ernest cries as she reflects on her unhinged behavior, but the king laughs, calling her entertaining. Ernest is not impressed and Blade starts using the virtual reality machine. The king sees him adding the strongest monsters into the world and he thinks it would be tough even for the hero. But Blade ends up plugging the king instead. The king is terrified as he goes up against all kinds of monsters and Blade tells the king's assistant to keep reviving him if he dies. Blade enjoys his lunch and we see that Clay and Chasm are depressed. Ernest wonders what's going on and Blade tells her how they were beaten by the girls, saying that they probably got complacent with their skills and neglected their training. After lunch Blade sees a flyer for a new hot spring and they find Dion digging outside. She welcomes them in and they all take a relaxing bath together. Blade notices that Ernest is missing and Jessica thinks she has something against a hot spring. But Ernest appears from behind a rock, revealing she isn't a fan of the mixed bath. We see Clay and Chasm are still depressed and the girls try to tell them that they just got lucky, but that doesn't work. Claire apologizes for winning, but this destroys their egos and they run off in tears. At night Blade checks up on the two of them, but they think he wouldn't understand since he has never lost. They reveal that they are in love with the two girls and it's the reason they feel so bad about losing. Ku suddenly bursts in saying all they need to do is get stronger because girls like guys that are strong, and she tells them that Blade can train them. Meanwhile the girls have a girls' night and Jessica wonders what they should do about Chasm and Clay. Claire suggests throwing a fight against them, but the others think that would only make things worse. Ku suddenly appears saying that guys like strong women and she tells them they should get even stronger, but it seems the girls aren't really into them like that. Chasm and Clay undergo Blade's training and he makes them do all kinds of crazy exercises. The next virtual reality class arrives and the guys think about confessing to the girls if they win. They prepare to have their rematch and Blade tells them to begin. As they start to fight the girls rush at them. But we see the guys have learned how to use their spiritual energy and they push the girls back. Blade says he helped them recognize it, but it seems the girls are also able to use it after learning from Ernest. Claire takes Chasm out with her mace while Jessica freezes Clay and she finishes him off with lightning. After the fight the guys thank them for not going easy and they swear to get even stronger. Chasm wonders about Jessica's lightning attacks and she reveals she learned them thanks to Sophie and Maria. Clay thinks they were ganged up on, but Ernest steps forward saying they are training from Blade. She goes on to ask them why they need to be stronger than the person they like, saying it's a ridiculous requirement because she knows she will never be stronger than Blade. The girls discover a robot and they wonder what it's doing there, but it suddenly activates, displaying a picture of Blade. We see Blade meditating when Ku launches at him, but his aura pushes her back. Ku wonders what he's doing and Blade tells her he was storing up his power so that he can use more than 15% at a time. At that moment the girls arrive with the robot telling him that it's been looking for him, but he suddenly pulls out his sword, instantly destroying it with his Dragon Eater skill. His sword breaks as he comments that his meditation worked because he isn't exhausted after using the skill. Ernest asks him why he destroyed the robot, so Blade tells her that they need to destroy it, calling it a guardian. As they talk the robot scans Ernest's body and it performs a system update. If you like my videos, you can support me by becoming a channel member, or you can donate me on Buy Me a Coffee. Your support will encourage me to make more videos. You can find links in the video description.
Yeah.
The next day the robot is back, but has taken the form of a girl, revealing that she designed the form to arouse Blade's protective instincts. Blade asks her who she is, but she prepares to attack him, so he strikes first, sending her crashing into the wall. Ernest beats him for attacking a girl, wondering what he's thinking, but Blade tells her not to worry. After some time the girl recovers and Blade wants to destroy her right away, but Ernest stops him, saying the girl isn't dangerous. However, Blade isn't convinced, knowing how dangerous guardians can be. The girl reveals that she was given an order to destroy him and she is currently observing him to gather more data. Claire asks her if she wants to join their class, calling her Iona because she sees the name on her chest. But the girl reveals that it's read as 10NA and it's actually her identification number, but Claire insists on calling her Iona. Iona isn't interested in joining their class, but Claire tells her that they will help her come up with a plan to defeat Blade, and she agrees to work with her. They discuss how to defeat Blade as Claire asks Iona why she is after him. We learned that Blade entered the area she was guarding, which was the Royal Library, where he learned about Asmodeus. Iona reveals that Blade destroyed her multiple times, but Blade tells her that she always attacked him first, so he had no choice but to fight back. The girls condemned Blade's behavior, so he starts walking away. Sophie follows him and Blade tells her that he only broke into the library because of his duties as the great hero. We learned that guardians keep their souls in a separate location, so they won't die if their bodies are destroyed. Eliza thinks that Iona can't win because Blade knows that she won't die if he attacks her, so Eliza comes up with a plan. Eliza explains that if they install Iona's soul into her body, Blade will hesitate to attack her because she is no longer indestructible. At the arena, Blade and Iona are about to fight, but she tells him that she is no longer connected to her mother computer, so she will die if she is destroyed. She proceeds to give him a beating, blowing him away and asking him what's wrong. Blade is about to use his Dragon Eater skill, but he hesitates, knowing she will die if he uses it. So he uses the skill with his bare hands instead, but it has no effect on her and she proceeds to taking him down and landing a strike which shatters the area around them. Blade admits defeat and everyone celebrates it as victory. After some time, Iona explains that she's been trying to reconnect with the mother computer, but it isn't accepting her connection, seeing her as a defective unit, and she doesn't feel secure because she has no supervisor. She wants Blade to be her master, saying the counter will keep ticking if he refuses. Iona reveals that she is going to self-destruct, making everyone panic as we learn that she will explode in a few days, so Blade tells her that he can be her master. Iona becomes Blade's servant, saying she will obey his commands, but Sophie becomes upset because Iona is stealing her character traits, so they start competing for Blade's attention. They have a contest to determine who will be able to serve Blade better, and that evening they watch Blade as he sleeps. Iona reveals that she was always alone and that Blade was the only person who came to visit her. Sophie was also alone when she was at the lab, saying she was only able to stay linked with the world because of Blade. They realized that they aren't so different, so they start to get along, making Blade happy. The next day, Blade asks Iona to show on the counter, and we learn that she will self-destruct in a few hours. She reveals that serving Blade only slowed down the counter, as Eliza speculates that it must be because Blade is human. Iona tells them that she wants to spend her last moments with them, so they throw a party for her. As Sophie tells her to enjoy the moment because everyone is trying to make her wish come true, calling her a friend. They enjoy their time together, and after the party, Ernest starts looking for Blade, but he's nowhere to be found. Iona's time is about to run out, so she walks away from the others and protects them with a barrier. Iona thanks them for helping her enjoy her final moments, saying she now understands humans. She tells Ernest that she is scared because she doesn't want her life to end, telling them not to forget about her. She bids them farewell, but to their surprise, Iona doesn't self-destruct, so they start to wonder what's going on. At that moment, Blade comes out of the ground and Ernest asks him why he didn't attend the party. Blade reveals that he went to the mother computer and begged her to let Iona live. His actions caused Iona connection with the mother computer to be restored, so she will no longer self-destruct, so they all celebrate. The academy has a battle royale where every student uses their powers to compete, but Blade wipes the floor with everyone. Leonard is still standing, so everyone cheers for him, telling him to defeat Blade. He wants to win for Ernest, but she thinks that he'll lose, knowing how weak he is. Leonard charges at Blade, who easily defeats him as the others walk away, seeing him as trash. That evening, Leonard thinks about how powerful Blade is, knowing he doesn't stand a chance, but he thinks that Ernest will never like him if he doesn't defeat Blade. The next day, he meets up with Maria, who knows that he wants to win against Blade, so she tells him that she's rooting for him. Leonard thanks her saying he will win at any cost because he wants Ernest to recognize him. At that moment Eliza joins them knowing they can never win against Blade, so she offers to help them saying she will come up with a plan for them. Leonard gathers Blade's friends asking them if they have any suggestions on how they can defeat him, so Jessica suggests attacking him while he sleeps. Ernest calls it a cowardly tactic, but Eliza reminds her that Blade is overpowered, so it isn't really a fair fight. Eliza explains that they need to defeat Blade by any means necessary, but Ernest says that she wants to fight him head-on using any weapon that can give her the advantage. They conclude the meeting and Ernest fights Blade using Leonard's lance, but he easily defeats her, breaking the lance. Jessica says that it's time to try her method, so she sneaks into Blade's room while he's sleeping, but Iona sees her and blasts her away. Jessica wonders why she attacked her because they're supposed to be allies, but Iona tells her that it was an automatic function. The others try to take him on, but none of them stand a chance because Blade is just too strong. Ernest even tries to win in the game of rock paper scissors, but she keeps on losing and she ends up breaking her wrist. They have another meeting where Ernest tells everyone that she wants to defeat Blade and force him to admit defeat. They remember how Iona won against him when she used her own life as a hostage, so they think that they should use hostages to achieve their goal. Leonard seems to be against this plan, but Ernest tells him that they can win and they all decide to go along with this. In the classroom, Blade asks Ernest about Leonard and the others. She tries to play dumb and Jessica tells him that they are just running an errand. Claire tells him not to worry about them as three masked men enter the room saying the room is under their control. Ernest calls them terrorists, but Blade isn't bothered at all. The terrorists take the doctor hostage, ordering the students to leave the room. Blade is about to leave, but Ernest stops him, telling him that the doctor is being held hostage. The doctor seems to be happy about this, knowing Blade is about to save her, and the girls volunteer to be taken as hostage, wanting Blade to save them. They start arguing with each other as the doctor walks away, letting them take her spot. Ernest has been chosen as the hostage, but Blade doesn't even know what a hostage is, so he asks Ku to explain it. But Ku tells him that a hostage is a food, and this just makes him confused. His calm demeanor gets on Ernest's nerves and she tells him to save her as the girls tell him that they have all been tied down, so they need to be saved. But Blade is still trying to understand what is happening, thinking that the terrorists are going to keep them as food. The terrorists tell Blade to surrender, but Blade knows that they are his friends because he recognized their behavior. They remove their masks and they all bow to him as Blade asks them what they plan to do with the girls. Chasm tells him that they are going to be kept as food, saying the girls now belong to him. But Claire beats him up. Leonard tells Blade to surrender, knowing he is weak against hostages, but he tells Leonard that their plan won't work. He takes Ernest as a hostage while Clay asks Blade if he is going to give up, but Blade casually swings his sword and the boys are disarmed and stripped of their clothes. Everyone attacks Blade with everything they have, but he wipes the floor with them, wondering what they are doing. Maria admits that the boys were just pretending to be terrorists, so Blade thinks that they were playing a make-believe game, asking them if they will be back tomorrow, but it seems they've had enough. And that's the end of the video. Don't forget to give me a like and subscribe to my channel. I will bring more excitement anime in the future. Thanks for watching, bye.